Welcome to Door2Door Insider, where we take a deep dive into the mindset, the why, and the how of the industry's top entrepreneurs, leaders, recruiters, and salespeople. We are the Door2Door Nation. Here is your host, Lee Barber. Let's go.
All right, gang. Welcome to Door2Door Insider. Today, we are coming in hot. I have special guest Kenny Brooks. Kenny Brooks is known as Funny Salesman, and he has been in Door2Door for 15 years plus. Kenny's career started with a viral video with the original before having it taken down, and maybe we'll talk about that, having over 300 million views. And some of our listeners may have watched the new video that's up with over 4.5 million views. So Kenny Brooks, Funny Salesman, man, welcome to the show.
I appreciate it. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. So listen, we just had you in. I'm super grateful that you're here. And you just did a presentation in front of my crew down here, and it really gave me some insight into who Kenny Brooks is, man. And you're actually a very deep human being. You're very well thought. You're very well self-educated. You have a lot of gratitude and happiness. So it was really cool to kind of see you come out and shine and get some of that personality, man. So I thank you for doing that.
I appreciate that. Yeah. Yes, sir. It's been a journey. So, we all come from somewhere, you know what I mean? Good or bad, but, you got to make the best out of everything. So I just made the best out of my situation. And for those that's listening, I just tell them that you just got to be a better you know what I mean? Because we all got a purpose on this earth, so.
Yeah. So that's kind of where I'd like to start, man. I'm always interested in what got people into Door2Door. And I know that you got into Door2Door in your younger life from what I was hearing, in 12, 14 years old, and then you took a little hiatus. But tell us a little bit about how Kenny grew up, what Kenny's environment was, and what pushed Kenny into Door2Door and sales.
Right. Yeah, so I grew up in Detroit, Michigan. Beautiful city, but you can be a product of your environment. It can be good or bad, you know what I mean? So I grew up in, single parent home. My mother raised me, my mother, my grandmother. My mother taught me so much, you know what I mean? She was an independent woman. She worked 2 jobs, you know what I mean? So we had 6 siblings, you know what I mean? We had 6, my mother got 6 kids. And me coming from Detroit, growing up, we didn't have a lot, but we made the best out of it. You know what I mean? My mother used to work so much that it was sometimes that, when you growing up with a lot of siblings, it was times that I used to wish that we used to have a lock on the refrigerator because we eat up everything before, you know what I mean? And then if my mother ain't there, we got to fend for ourselves. So what really got me into I'm going to be honest with you, growing up, I was a terrible, I used to steal a lot. I used to what we call them hit licks. And I was the older brother / I had one brother that was older than me. You know what I mean?
So you were the bad influence.
Yeah. I started off being a bad influence because around 9, 10, 11, I was just on a stealing rampage. I go to I don't know if you remember that movie Dead Presidents.
I do.
You remember how they used to set up, they'd have a meeting on how they about to rob the bank?
Yep.
I was the ringleader of doing negative things. We called it hitting licks. I would have my cousins, we would sit at the table while my mom at work, and I tell my little brother, all right, Nuki, look, you gonna go grab the peanut butter. Pip, you gonna grab the jelly. Buki, you gonna grab the cereal. Mitras, you gonna grab the milk. Barry, you gonna grab the, whatever we need, the Roman noodles. And I'ma go in there and cause back in the day, I don't know if you remember, I don't know, if for cigarette smokers, I know it's not a good topic, but my mother used to smoke cigarettes. But it was to points that a lot of gas stations, they could give us credit. We'd go be all right, my mom needs some cigarettes, she'll pay you, you know what I mean? And they'll let me get cigarettes. So I had it set up look, I'm gonna go in there and ask for a pack of Newport 100. When he turn around, you gonna run out with, you know what I mean? We go and do that. So we went to 10 or 15 gas stations at a time.
But y'all was getting food.
Yeah. So we was hitting licks, getting food to survive. You know what I mean?
It's a little different.
But it was to one time one of the store owners locked the door on me and came out with a last of the Mohegan sword. They must have heard about us and no, for real, true story. My cousins and the brothers, they bang on the door we got to get out of here. I had to have them come back in and bring the food and stuff back. He probably was gonna send me the pizza. So like I said earlier, So that happened around like 9, 10, 11. It was to the point I was a bad kid. I was stealing from my parents, my grandmother, you know what I'm saying? And then it was getting to the point my mother's like, I'm about to put you in a group home. So then like one day I went from like 4'9" to like 5'3" or 4. Like I'm talking about I was on a rampage of stealing, right? And to this one day, I woke up hanging out the bed. I was like a tall 12-year-old, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So I asked my mother, I said, look, I like all the stealing, the line, everything went out the window. I said, you know, I got to change my life because I was thinking like I might end up going to jail or getting hurt, murdered. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Anything happens,
Detroit's
like,
rough,
yeah,
man.
it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I said, you know, I'm about to try to play basketball. You know what I mean? So I told my mother, like, look, I need to give me some basketball shoes. They only $50. Just give me some cheap shoes. She was like, I ain't got no money right now. So I went to school, tried out for the basketball team anyway. I don't even know what kind of shoes I had. They was like some Payless shoes, like some XJ900s or some Pro Wings or something. I know I was sliding.
I remember those, man.
Yeah, I was sliding like across the court. Like I was with Slip and Slide Records before Trick Daddy. Like I was sliding out of the gym to the lunchroom. Like my classmates and teammates was roasting me, talking bad about me and everything. So I was humiliated. So I remember coming home from school after my mom said she couldn't afford me no shoes and I made a fool of myself. So I'm coming home almost in tears, like just feeling the worst ever. And I seen this telephone poll saying that you can make $50 a week delivering Detroit news and free press from like 4:30 to 6:30. It was like an after school program. I said, I need this. That way I ain't got to be trying to steal or hit, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I was going to do it. Like my first goal was like, all right, I'm gonna get $50, get these shoes. If it's easy, I'm gonna work another week. Then I got money to get food. Now, you know what I mean? We ain't got to go, you know what I'm saying? But what I learned at that age is that I was a good leader, but I was just doing bad stuff. You get what I'm saying? Because my little brothers and sisters, they looked up to me. Everything I told them, if I told them a mosquito can pull a truck, they didn't question the orders. They just hooked it up. That's how much I was a leader to them. So I knew that I can aspire. I just was aspiring them the wrong way. You know what I mean? So I said, you know what? I'm going to just go do this paper route. So anyway, I go out. Boom. I work like a couple hours. The first 10 doors, I deliver the paper. The next 10 doors, he'll deliver the paper. Then we knocked on this one guy door. He was angry. He just started snapping on us like, I'm tired of y'all delivering this paper. You know, the last person I told him I canceled the subscription, they keep delivering paper. And then my coworker looked at me. We looked at each other because like we from Detroit and we was working in the suburbs of Detroit. We was working like predominantly white areas. Like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So we looked at each other like, this dude racist. I bet you we as white, he wouldn't be cussing us out. You know what I'm saying? That's how we was thinking. So then, like, my friend was ready to fight him. And I thought about it. I said, you know what? We can't do that. You know what I mean? We're going to end up getting in trouble. But I got this. And then this when I became a salesman. I didn't even know what I was getting myself into. I use this technique still to this day. I said, sir, can I ask you one question? He was like, what? I said, you got kids? He was like, yeah. I was like, if two of your kids was playing and one broke the glass, you wouldn't spank both of them, right? He was like, no. I said, well, you shouldn't spank us for the bad performance. Let me just call my stupid advisor and see if we can fix this. And he started laughing. And he's like, you know what? I apologize. Don't even worry about it. Just sign me up for. So we ended up signing him up for another like year subscription. So my coworker went and told our manager, and then he made me a salesperson. So I went from making $50 a week to making $200 to $300 a week. You see what I'm saying? That's a big difference.
Yeah.
Then I learned at 12 years old, like, dang, it ain't no ceiling over your income. You can go from welfare to Rockefeller. See, I had a salary. I was making just delivering this. But now I'm selling, so I get paid off my performance. And one thing I learned that I didn't even talk about earlier is that what I learned at 12 years old is that going door to door at that age, it taught me how to be myself. Because I noticed when they gave me a script to read at the door, because they gave me a script like, oh, my name is Kenny Brooks. I'm working toward a college education. You can help by trying to Detroit News and Free Press. One subscription. Like they was having me lie to people. You know what I'm saying? And I wasn't really comfortable because I'm looking like, I'm 12 years old. I'm not working towards a college education.
It has
I'm
to be
like,
authentic.
Yeah. So I noticed like when I didn't have confidence in that spiel or that speech, I didn't really have confidence in selling the product. Then when I was like, you know what, I'm going to be myself. I'm going to crack a couple jokes. Hey, how's it going? You must, you know what I mean? That came out. And then I was getting sales, Lamborghini fast. You know what I mean? So I learned that at 12 years old, like be yourself. Don't, and I told him that, I said, I understand. Like, cause the first day I had like 2 sales. And then I was like, you know what, I'm not even using it. I'm about to add my own flavor to it. Hey, how's it going? My name is Kenny Brooks. I'm from Detroit, Michigan. You can help by trying this Detroit News and Free Press because it's going to teach young kids how to sell, like how to do some positive instead of negative. Knock on front doors instead of kicking in back door. They like because they can relate to that.
Yep.
You know what I mean? At 12 years old, they know people can get into trouble. You know what I mean? They're like, wait, he's trying to do some and I use that. You know what I mean? So I was like, yeah, that ain't, I can't, I know I'm not. they know that I'm not working towards a college education. I'm 12 years old.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So
I love that story, man. You know, I think back to you in your young childhood. You know, my childhood was different, but similar in some of the ways that I had to make choices, and I was surrounded by things that, you know, a child shouldn't necessarily be surrounded by. Your mom obviously is making great decisions, and she's trying to take care of everybody, working 2 jobs. And was it 6 kids total with you or 7 with you?
Yeah, it was 6 kids total.
I mean, it's an undertaking.
4 boys,
man.
2 girls. I was the second oldest.
Yeah,
I'm the second oldest, actually. Yeah.
And to see you go from, you know, I don't even know. I think I don't know if, you know, the hitting licks was. You're trying to survive.
Yeah,
it's not like you're out stealing clothes. You're trying to. You're one guy's getting peanut butter.
Yeah,
I mean, those are just things that kids shouldn't be faced with. But as a boy at that age, you're a young boy.
Yeah.
To make the decision and have the foresight to go into the basketball, and the basketball, you know, is a train wreck because of the shoes, and you know, kids are just mean to each other. And it forces you into these decisions of, hey, I'm actually going to go out and start creating my own path. And, you know, I've never lived in Detroit. I grew up in some hard neighborhoods here, but when we're young and we're in those neighborhoods, there is 2 directions.
Yeah.
Like I can go over here and do this thing, and these guys are making all kinds of money on a daily basis. And the reason that people usually go into that is because they say, well, I'm not going to go over here and make $250 a week. To you, $250 a week is great. But you're comparing it to like $250 a week the right way, as opposed to doing this the wrong way.
You got to deal with the consequences.
Powerful choices for a young man, you know. Exactly. And so one of the things I want to ask is, dude, you were 12 years old, and it sounds like, have you always had that comedian spirit in you? Just that intrinsically like a comedian.
I knew I had this comedian spirit. Like I told you, my grandmother, she was like a big inspiration to me. You know what I'm saying? Besides my mother, like them, like 2 of my favorite people in the world, my mom and my grandmother. You know what I mean? Because they taught me a lot about morals and like survival and just hard work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Dedication, loyal. You know what I'm saying? When my grandmother passed, it's like my family like kind of separated. You know what I mean? It was like my family reminded me of that movie Big Mama's House. Not Big Mama's House, but I forgot what's the name of it. It's Soul Food. It's the movie called Soul Food. Like when the grandmother died, everybody it's like dysfunctional. She kept like the family together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I do.
So anyway, like my grandmother, when she passed away, I was like depressed. Like I didn't even, you know what I mean? I was like, because this was like somebody that like really spoiled me. Mm-hmm. Like I was the worst of the worst. And she still was like, this is a good kid. This is my grandson. You know what I mean? She just, no matter what, everybody told me, oh, you ain't gonna be nothing. You gonna be like your dad. You ain't gonna make it to 21. You ain't gonna be there. Not my grandma. You know what I mean? My grandma's like, oh, no, you gonna be, you know what I mean? So she always had me believe in myself. You know what I'm trying to say? Yeah. So anyway, when she passed away, this one I knew that I was the funniest person on earth, right? My grandmother died. Everybody is mourning, right? And I put on a comedy show. Like we had a funeral. And you know how like when you have a funeral, they be like, all right, I want you to go up and talk about your memory with your grandmother.
Absolutely.
And I just put on a comedy show. Because I was like, this is a life of celebration. Like she served, you know what I mean? Like I want to give, laughter is the best medicine for the heart. So I was like, I seen everybody sad, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna just go ahead and lift people's spirit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I know my grandmother, she did that to me. She was there at that moment. She was like, look, go ahead and, you know, and like
she put that spirit in you.
Yeah, and that's when I knew that like I need to bring this to the world. Because I remember my grandmother always told me I was gonna be doing great things. You know what I mean? Like I told you, like my aunts, my uncles, like that. I mean, I had some great role models and people that like, you know what I mean? It's just that I was my grandma told me a hard head make a soft ass. Like it's just the choices you make. And I remember that like I could have just listened to them, but my grandmother, like I believed everything she said because she told me right from wrong, but she automatically spoiled me. Like she made me believe that I was this bigger person than what everybody else perceived me to be. You know what I'm trying to say?
I do. So you know, one of the things that I've caught a few times on just listening to your content over time, one of the things that's really struck me quite a few times is you said that perception is reality, and you've applied that a few times to, you know, some of the things that you've encountered with, you know, racism in different parts of the country. But also I hear that a lot in what your grandmother and your mother taught you, right? Like you're in Detroit, and your mom's working 2 jobs. She's got 6 kids, and there's your grandmother. And instead of like giving you this reality that you are nothing and you can't be anything, you have these women in your life that their perception is that you can create your own reality, and they're giving you good content and a good spirit and a good mind.
Mm-hmm.
And so just having heard you over time, it kind of sounds like that's where that came from, is like your family taught you that your perception is reality, and that is what you create. So that's super dope on your grandma, man. I haven't heard that. So that was pretty awesome, man. So that's how you get into, so you're selling the newspapers,
Mm-hmm.
and then where do we go from there? How do we get from there to today's?
I was making so much money, right, that I stayed out of trouble. You know what I mean?
And so much money back then was $250 a week. $250.
$200, $300.
But
it's
to
like
a 12-year-old
in the 90s.
kid,
you know what I'm saying? 12 years old, coming from Detroit,
getting a pair of J's.
I'm like going like. When I was doing that, people thought I was selling drugs or something. You know what I mean? Like I know like drug dealers that make that. You know what I mean? So but I was doing something positive. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So my grandmother, my mom, they was like, keep doing it. You know what I mean? And then like when I turned like 14 or 15, because I did it like, so that's what I'm saying. My goal was like, I'm going to do this, make $50, get some shoes, I'm done. Then I did it another week. Make $50, buy peanut butter jelly noodles. I ain't got to steal nothing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Then I became a salesperson. I was making $200-$300. You know what I'm saying? So then I was like, I'm gonna keep doing it. I was buying jewelry. I was buying stuff that I couldn't buy. You know what I mean?
I do.
So then I just kept doing it. I did it for like 2 years until like I really grew. Like around 14 and a half, I grew like 6 feet. You know what I mean? So I was like, oh, I got to play basketball now. So then I started playing basketball. I took basketball serious from like 14 and a half, 15, 16 to like 18.
Okay.
Then my grandmother passed away when I was 18. I was a senior in high school. I remember like yesterday. So I dropped out of school my senior year. You know what I mean? I started being depressed. My mother put me out like a couple months later because she was like, either you going to get you a job or you going to, you know what I mean? You got to go. It was tough love. I feel like it was the best thing that she could ever teach me, because just imagine if I would have just still been standing there being lazy, she would have made me a sorry hustler. You know what I mean?
100%.
So anyway, to make a long story short, I remember working at Burger King for like 30 minutes. She even got me a Burger King job. And I told you back when 12 years old, I learned that I was never going to punch a clock unless I swung on Flavor Flav, because I knew it wasn't no ceiling over your income. And so I worked at Burger King for 30 minutes. When this coworker took more breaks than a Kit Kat, and I was working my butt off, and we both at the end of the day made $7.50 an hour, I said, oh yeah, I ain't doing this. You mean to tell me we could take all these many breaks and you ain't got to do nothing, and I work my butt off. I'm sweating bullfrogs mixed with lizards, and we both get $7.50. Oh, this is a whole nother ball game. So I quit. Boom. And I really don't quit, but I knew that wasn't for me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So after I quit that Burger King job, my mother put me out. Like a couple weeks later, she was like, you got to get a job. So she put me out. So I started staying with my uncle, me and my brother. We was moving like house to house. You know what I'm saying? Then I tried to sell drugs. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I tried anything I could do to survive, and that didn't work. You know what I mean? My brother took me around. We was trying to sell drugs. Then my brother, if it wasn't for my brother, I probably wouldn't even be sitting here talking to you, because my older brother, shout out to Jesse Sanders Tank, he was like, hey, Poo Poo, my nickname Poo Poo. He was like, Poo Poo, remember how you was selling that cleaning product back in the day and you was making all that money? He was like, look, I just found this gig where you could go travel selling the cleaner product. You could make like $300 to $1,000. I know a couple people that do it. I said, let's do it. Shoot, we already like homeless. You know what I'm saying? So then I went to the traveling job. He went with me just to make sure I made it. Like I told you, my first week I worked like 3 days, made $800. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
This was like the most money I ever made as a little kid. Because like as a little kid, I made like $200 to $300. I thought that was something.
Yeah.
Then I make like $800 in 3 days. That was
18,
like,
it's a lot of money.
So that's
man.
like making like $250 a day. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Two, three. You know what I mean? So I'm like, this getting bigger than what Oprah used to be. Oh, I'm rolling like eyeball. So like you couldn't tell me nothing like Kanye West. So then I invested like my first paycheck. I invested that $800, 400 of it at Barnes and Nobles. You know what I mean? I started buying books. I bought Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. You know, Greatest Salesman in the World, Og Mandingo, How to Win Friends and Influence People, Rich Dad Poor Dad. That was like my 4 top books that I can remember off the top of the dome that really transitioned my way of thinking to believing in myself even more. Because like at 12 years old, what I learned at 12 years old, being around my mother and my grandmother and taking that sales job, is that I got confidence. It takes confidence for a 12-year-old to go knock in the suburbs of Detroit and talk to some people that you never met in your life. You know what I mean? So I learned that. So I had that. Now I got to learn product knowledge, because like at 12 years old, my why was I'm doing this to get some shoes. When I was 19, my why was I'm doing this to survive and make my grandmother proud, make my family proud. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like I told myself on that bus, like this the brokest I'm gonna ever be. When I was on that bus for 3 days driving from Detroit to California, I said, look, I'm leaving on a bus for 3 days, but I'm gonna come back. Next time y'all see me, I'm gonna be back on a plane first class, or I'm gonna be driving back. See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that was my goal. So I just made the best out of it. And I started like 2004 selling the cleaning product. And then I was like the top sales rep from 2004 to 2009. Like nobody could beat me. I didn't want salesman of the month, salesman of the year. I was just making a killing without a machine gun. To this one day, this guy, shout out to Chris Amine, he had beat me that day. He had like 40 some sales and I came in with like 20 some sales. And what's crazy is that we got paid off of bets, bonuses, and commission. We got paid three different ways. We got paid off of bet cards. We had bet the salespeople off bet cards. And then we had bonuses. Like they had bonuses. Like you saw, you just gave out, but like incentives. Like, and what I loved about sales is that I don't know no 9 to 5 that's going to pay you for doing your job. That's what I loved about, you know what I mean? I ain't never seen Burger King say, you know what? Whoever flipped the most fries today, I'm going to give them $100. Whoever flipped the most burgers, you know what I mean?
Facts.
So
man.
like the company was giving you bonuses for doing your job. So it was like free money. You see what I'm saying? I'm already out there knocking. I might as well go win this extra shirt and tie. I might as well win this extra $200. I might as well win, you know what I'm saying? Just for having the most sales, most cash, the most customers. You know what I mean? The most, you know what I'm saying? The most improved salesperson.
Gamified it.
Yeah. So anyway, that was a way. And so this guy beat me. And he come in like talking crazy to me, like, oh, how many sales you got? He never asked me. So I knew he had a good day. I said, oh, okay. And I'm the type of one, I got pride, I got ego.
Yeah.
You just did something to my pride. You shifted me a little bit. Cause I never got beat. You know what I mean? I felt like Michael Jordan when he played with the Pistons that day. Yeah. And remember they beat him and he started crying. I said, okay, I ain't gonna never feel like this again. So anyway, I got up in a meeting. I raised my hand. I said, I got $500. I'm gonna beat Chris Amines today. I'm going to go work the same area you work and I'm going to double your sales. Where you work? Oh, I work the India reservation. Okay, pin me over there, Mr. Foster. Boom. So they dropped me off in the same neighborhood. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So anyway, the first door I knocked on, I didn't even get a chance to knock on this door. The first door I approached, I went up, opened the gate. He was washing his car. I'm whistling Dixie. Hello. Because I don't know if they got dogs. Every time I see a gate, I always whistle Dixie because I don't know if they got a dog. You know what I mean? And then I whistle, the dog come out. Then if I see the consumer or the customer, I'll be like, he don't like dark meat, do he? He don't like soul food. You know what I'm saying? But at this time, he didn't have a dog. This particular door, he just was washing his car. I'm like, hello. He said, get off my property before I blow your fucking head off. Excuse my French. I said, oh. So the first thing I did, I said, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. I didn't let him even know that, like, you like Biggie Small said, you want to see the inside, I'll see you later. So you ain't affecting me. I'm stronger than the Holy Ghost. And I'm from Detroit. I've seen a lot of guns. You know what I mean? Yeah. So soon as he said that, I said, okay, sorry to bother you, sir. We're going to see you around like a donut. And I guess I was being finesseful and really like positive and saying jokes. He got mad. He said, oh, you think it's a game? And he went in his car and got a gun. And he started following me out the neighborhood. He said, you got 5 minutes to get out, man. I'm going to blow your head off. So anyway, he's following me with a gun. So I jump on the phone like, oh, this is serious. I called my manager. I said, look, I don't know where you at, but you got to come get me right now. This dude is following me with a gun. He started laughing. He was like, man, you Kenny Brooks. He's like, bro, you were selling all these whiff tickets in a meeting. What you mean?
He thinks you're trying to leave hood.
Exactly.
You're
he thought I was like the boy crowd wolf.
Yeah.
And it just really was. And see, at the time, it's like 2009. We ain't had like FaceTime. I wish I don't even know if we did. I probably didn't know about it. But anyway, like I couldn't even FaceTime. So he was like, look, he was like, I'm in the middle of traffic right now. It's going to take me like 10 minutes to get back to you. He was like, when you get off the phone with me, if he's still following you, just call the police. He was like, but I'm on my way. So boom, I get off the phone. The guy must thought I was talking to the police because as soon as I turned around, he was back heading toward going in his house. So I seen a school on the left of like, so I started walking in the street going towards the school because I seen kids out playing. And I'm like, let me start moving towards the school. I started using street smarts. You know what I'm saying?
Safety.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Like I'm from Detroit. I'm like, I ain't about to be stupid. You know what I mean? This day neighborhood. I don't know about this neighborhood. I'm like, let me start walking towards the school because if something happened, he ain't about to, he ain't that crazy. He ain't about to shoot me in broad daylight in front of no kids. You know what I mean? So as I'm walking towards the school, this lady opened up her door. She seen me. I started running across the street back to her and she closed the door. So she had those Friday at the next door, them like where it's dark. The doors, they got the black screens where you could see, they can see you, but you can't see inside that. Right. Yep. So I went and banged on her door. Boom, 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 boom. She opened the door. The first thing she said is, how can I help you? I said, don't shoot. I'm just a chocolate kid working hard. She was like, chocolate? Is you dark chocolate or light chocolate? I'm thinking like, this a chocolate contest? I said, I'm dark chocolate. She's like African American. I was like, yes, ma'am. She's like, oh my God, what are you doing in this neighborhood? I'm surprised one of my nephews ain't terrorized you. And I'm like, I'm just working hard instead of hardly working. She was like, what? I was like, yeah. So anyway, she was like, wait, do you know where you at? I was like, apparently I don't. I was like, she was like, yeah, this is not a good neighborhood to be in right now. She was like, I just lost my brother to gang violence. She said it's a war going on with the Native Americans and the blacks. She was like, my brother was just murdered by an African American yesterday, and if my nephews see you, it's not gonna be good for you.
Yeah, you're in a bad spot.
Yeah. So anyway, I'm thinking like Chris. My mom was not over here. Like how he didn't go through that. You know what I'm saying? This is not
neighborhood. Chris was knocking.
Yeah. So anyway, so she was like, so what are you doing? I was like, I thought you never at. You see the spot right here? So I went back in sales mode trying to sell it. She's like, wait, I don't got time for this. She's like, wait, you in the neighbor trying to sell something? She's like, come on in. So the whole time I did not know this lady was blind until she told me to walk in, and then she started walking with her stick trying to find like which way she was going. I'm like, oh wow, if it ain't one thing, it's another. And then so she was like, how many bottles you got on you? And I was like, I got 4 bottles. She said, look, I will bottom 4 bottles on one occasion. I was like, what's that? She was like, if I bottom 4 bottles, you got to call your boss, supervisor, whoever they is, and tell them to come pick you up right now because I don't want nothing to happen to you. I was like, okay. So I wrote her up. She bought, and I called my manager back. I said, look, it's been 10 minutes. I got good news. I don't got no more products. So you got to come get me right now. I was like, this lady said I could wait in her house till you come. I was like, look, I'm not quitting. You just got to move me to another area. She just told me why this guy pulled a gun on me. You know, it's a war going on over here. You just dropped me off in the middle of, wide earth looking for dirt. Yeah, this is crazy. This Young Guns, right. This is like colors, you know what I'm saying? I didn't know this was going on. He was like, if I come move you, then you forfeit that bet. You lost $500. I said, look, you can move me in the back of the neighborhood, but that's how I was thinking. So anyway, he was like, all right, I'm pulling up, come outside. So I come outside, boom. I see him like at the corner. So I'm coming out her gate. As soon as I come out the gate, walking towards the street for him to pick me up, like 5 4-wheelers just cut me off and they surrounded me. The guy jumped off the 4-wheeler, pointed the gun at. He was like, you thought I was playing? What you thought? Didn't I tell you had 5 minutes? He's like, I'm about to blow your brain. He's like, matter of fact, my brother about to pull up in a brown native pride truck. If you don't get in, I'm going to blow your fucking head off. And I promise you, when I turned and looked back at the corner, the van left.
Your guy left you.
Right then, I just started crying. I said, yeah, it's over with.
Yeah, no, that's cool, man. That's cool.
The brown van pulled up and the dude opened the door. He had a double barrel shotgun. He was like, get in before I blow your head off. So I was walking, I was like this close, walking I promise you, about to get in. And next thing I know, like an unmarked police car just happened to come out of nowhere with the sirens. And I was like about to shit my pants. True story.
That's divine intervention right there.
Yeah,
man.
I'm talking about I don't even know how this even happened. That's how I know that was God. You know what I mean?
I agree with you.
It was crazy because if it would have been any seconds more, I don't know what would have happened to me. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So anyway, he just came and rescued me. Just came out of nowhere. I'm talking about as soon as they heard the sirens, I'm telling you the car, when I say he did a 50 miles an hour reverse, I'm talking about this dude would I was like, oh yeah.
That's the guy in the truck with the gun.
Yeah, he just boom, just peeled off, reverse, and then they just start scattering, going in ditches in the 4-wheelers. They just got out of there. You know what I'm saying? And I'm looking like they know their area. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so the police started calling for backup. He started calling. They got fire. They got they called ambulance. I'm talking about it was crazy. Helicopters. It was
this is the real deal.
Yeah, I'm talking about, that's when I knew. I was like, oh yeah, the news. Everybody about to be out here. This about to be history. You know what I'm saying? So anyway.
Well, you probably would have died that day, man.
Yeah, exactly.
You don't have people pulling up, kidnapping you into a truck with a double barrel shotgun, telling you to get in because they're going to drive you out of the neighborhood,
right? Especially
when somebody just got murdered the day before.
Exactly.
That's divine intervention, man.
Exactly, and that's what I like. It's crazy.
So just real quick on this, man, because I want to hear the rest of this story. This is the story of a door knocker. Exactly. I mean, this is one of the, I've never heard a story like this in Door2Door other than in how impactful, but I mean, just to kind of play back some of this, you're at the company for a few years, you're one of the top reps, and this day starts with somebody beat you. And what did he say he had sold the day before that you guys went into the bet for that you were going to go beat him that day?
Yeah, he had 48. It was a crazy number, 40 something. It was so crazy that he was like, not only did I beat you, but when I found out I beat you, I gave my coworker 12 of my sales just to make he was
spanked you. He was just talking. Yeah.
He still turned in it was crazy.
So but what's crazy about this story is, and I've heard parts of this before, is this, if we just get away from the insanity, this is a story of a door knocker. Yeah. You're a door-to-door salesman. Out trying to sell some cleaner, product, and then here you find yourself in this crazy ass situation. And I love where the rest of the story, because I heard some of it in correlation today, and some of these things are things that we can't plan as individuals. And some of these things are things that we can't plan as our life for individuals. And sometimes, this is when I really break that down and I put myself at that door in a neighborhood that's not my ethnicity, and there's people with guns and somebody died. It's a very, very real situation. It scares you to death. It doesn't matter who you are. There's people with guns. It scares you to death. And in that moment, it probably seems like, well, that was the worst place you could be in your entire life.
Right.
But where that place takes you into the future is what's amazing. So I just wanted to cut in there because it's so powerful that this is literally just the story of Kenny Brooks going door to door, selling cleaner, trying to win a competition today. And it leads into this scenario. And then where this scenario catapults you in the things that take place. It's just a little call out is like sometimes when you think it's the worst thing that could ever happen in your life, you just don't know what doors could open, man. And I know a little bit of the rest of the story. So I just wanted to interject there because it's powerful, man. I love it. So
shout out to my mentor, Mr. Davis. He always taught me one thing. He said, "This is the price you pay for the life you chose."
Boom.
And I never knew exactly what he was talking about until like now. You know what I mean?
That's
like
a nugget, man.
Yeah, he trained me like in the whole door-to-door industry. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And he like somebody that like I really like look up to, like a father type figure. You know what I mean? Because like I knew how to sell, but he taught me like how to like use my jokes, personality, and like captivate it. Like, you know what I mean? Like I said, I learned that I had the confidence. I know I wasn't scared to talk to nobody. I did that at 12. That was the easy part. I got
99 problems, but a cold call ain't one.
Exactly, right. Yeah. So like that's what I like. You never know what's gonna be put in front of you as a test. Once you pass that test, it opens the universe for you.
So there we are. Sheriffs come, car backs up, ambulance coming, news crews coming.
Yeah.
What happens now?
So the police got me out of the situation. He took me to the precinct.
Yeah.
On the way there, I'm filling out a police report. I'm explaining what happened. And I just reached over and asked, I said, after I've done crying and everything, I said, because I start thinking now, I could think. Because at first, everything was happening so fast. He was asking me questions.
Fight or flight.
Right. So I said, can I ask you? I said, did that lady call you and tell you that I was getting kidnapped or what was going on? He was like, no. He was like, let me tell you something. I've been working this area for like 2 years. The last couple of days have been the most crime I ever seen in my life. He said it's been kidnapping, murders, shootouts, all type of burn up houses, arson. He was like, so I've been monitoring this area just to make sure everything was safe. And then I kept in the seat, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I was like, that's crazy. That was God, you know what I mean?
100%.
So anyway, they took me to the precinct. I did my police report, and this happened around like 12 o'clock. They didn't find these guys till like 7 o'clock in the evening. So when they finally found them, I had to do they had me like in a black room, like they had me like in a room like First 48. Like they asked me questions, and then I had to go, and it was like a black, like I guess they couldn't see me, but I could see them, and I had to point them out. It was like 5 dudes. I only remember there were 2 dudes. The one dude that pulled the gun out on me, and the guy that was in the truck. I was like, yeah, that's them 2. Kind of find out they was brothers. You know what I mean? And I think that was the lady nephews that she was talking about. You know what I'm saying? I just don't remember because it's like 12, 13 years ago.
She was just trying to save your life.
Yeah, so she put me up on like, you know what I mean, on the information. Just imagine if I wouldn't have been in the house and I wouldn't have sold them for about. I don't know.
I don't think that school was going to stop those guys from putting you in that truck. Man.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's crazy. So anyway, boom. So I point them out. Boom. They let me go. Like 7:30. My van come. I tell them about. I went crazy. Like I just snapped. Detroit came out of me. I said, I can't believe y'all left me to die for a $40 bottle of cleaner. You know what? I'm never working for y'all again. I'm going to tell anybody I know that want to do door to door that y'all the worst company in the world. Y'all got to get me back to Detroit. Boom. So this happened in like 2009, like around like November. So they flew me back to Detroit. So I'm in Detroit for like 2-3 months. 2-3 months ago, but I didn't. Like I said, this was like November. So Thanksgiving in past, Christmas in past, my birthday in past, New Year's in past, and then now it's February. It's like a week before Valentine's Day. Mm-hmm. With my I get a subpoena in the mail where they tell me that I gotta fly back to California to go testify against these guys. I'm like, so I'm already nervous and scared. Like I don't want to even. I thought it was over with. You know what I mean? So anyway, I'm like, I don't want to go. I'm telling my mom. She's like, no, you gotta go. She was like, this is serious. Like, you can end up going to jail if you don't, you know what I'm saying? She's like, now, if they would have served you a subpoena and you wouldn't have got served, then that would have been different. But like, they actually gave it.
They know you got it.
Exactly. So this is like, they had bounty hunters, all type of stuff. Like, so anyway, they flew me there. Boom. So I knew it was serious when I get to the airport and a guy with a suit on holding a sign with my name on it. I'm like, what the hell? Like, they got Secret Service to pick me up and everything. So they got like a tinted Suburban with tinted windows and stuff. They got dudes like, I felt like President Obama. Like, dang, they got me presidential. So they take me in the middle of nowhere, like in like Palm Springs or Lancaster, something like that, Palmdale, something in the middle of nowhere in this hotel. Boom. So they wake me up like 6:30 in the morning. I got to get dressed. Boom. Then we drive like an hour to like back to LA to like go to court. So I go through the metal detector, go through security and everything, and I go on an elevator with these two guys with suits on with like earplugs, and like they look like Secret Service, like they work for the movies, man. Yeah, like it was crazy. So I told them I had to use the restroom. So they waiting outside of the restroom. I walk in the restroom. This dude see me, like big Indians type dude, like a wrestler. He was like, "Hey, you motherfucker!" And he went like this, like he tried like.
Across the neck.
Yeah. And I looked and I turned around and ran out of the restroom and I ran past the dudes. I was like, oh, y'all got to get this dude. He's trying to kill me. I ran past them and I ran past the elevator and I seen the exit door. I ran down the steps, ran out of the courtroom. I just kept running. I ran, like I seen a gas station. I ran behind the gas station. That's how scared I was. I ain't run inside. I ran behind and started kicking on the door, banging on the door. This dude come out. He was like taking out the trash. He was like, how can I help you? I said, please call the police. Someone trying to kill me. He was like, you know, it's he was like, it's the police department in the courtroom. I said, I just came from there. This is a setup. Can you please call us? So he ended up calling the police. When I tell you like 10, 15 minutes came by, they didn't come. I used the phone. The guy was like, can I use your phone? So I called my mom and I told her, I was like, I told you this is a setup. I was like, that's why I didn't want to come. I was like, Ma, you got to get me back to Detroit. She was like, boy, I ain't got no money. She was like, ain't you in California? I was like, yeah. She was like, you better call that company you used to work for and see if they can get you back home. She was like, they still in California. I'm pretty sure they'll get you back home. You've been a top salesperson for like 5 years. I'm pretty sure that. So I called them and I explained my situation. I was like, look, I need to get back to Detroit ASAP. Like I'm stranded. I'm only out here because they flew me out here to go to court, and this guy, one of the Indian dudes, they family members must have seen me try to kill me. Can y'all please get me back to Detroit? I'll make it up later on. So then my manager's like, let me call the owner. I'm gonna get back with you. So he called me back like in 2 minutes, or I called him back, either or. So he got back on the phone. He was like, look, this is what we came up with. You could do one or two things. I talked to the owner. He said he willing to get you a Greyhound ticket right now. You only got to pay for it. It's like 270 some bucks. Only thing is that your bus ain't gonna leave till like 7 o'clock tonight. It's like, so if you want to wait at the Greyhound for like the next 12 hours, no problem. I'll come pick you up, drop you off. It was like, or it's a flight that leave out tonight around like 9, but that flight is like $600. He said that he can pay half of the ticket and we can come pick you up right now, put you in a safe neighborhood, make sure you good. And then we can pick you up about 5 or 6 o'clock, take you to the airport. We can use your commission off the sales you made today to pay for your plane ticket. So I thought about it. I was like, you know what? I was about to do the Greyhound because I was like, I ain't about to knock on no door, so I don't care what it is. You know what I'm saying? But then I thought about it. I said, I might get down there. They already know how I look. They probably follow me. Ain't no telling what's, you know what I mean? I got to wait 12 hours. I ain't about to chance that. I said, look, just come get me. The whole mindset was no guts, no glory. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm from Detroit. That's when so that one decision was a decision I made to even be on this podcast talking to you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, we wouldn't be sitting in front of each other.
Yeah, exactly. So anyway, they came and got me. Dropped me off in a nice neighborhood in Tarzana. So I get dropped off. I'm talking about like 2-3 hours going by. I ain't getting no sales. I'm getting my head beat in like mentally. I'm like about to give up. Just I got all of this stuff going on in my head. Like, cause I'm not thinking about being happy or trying to make people laugh and crack a jokes at the time. I'm thinking about I just got kidnapped, a couple like attempted murder almost happened. You know what I'm saying? I just I got a lot going through my head. So I just like stopped and just started praying. You know what I mean? And like one of my favorite books is The Greatest Salesman in the World. Like I just love the scrolls. Like I will persist till I succeed. You know, today I greet this day with love in my heart. Like, so I just started praying. I prayed for peace of mind and I prayed for some of those scrolls. You know what I mean? And when I tell you that, like when you speak stuff into existence and manifest it, it actually happened. The next door I knock on, this guy door, old white dude, cooled in the mud. Came to me, how can I help you, young man? What you out here doing? I thought you never asked. You see the spot right here? He let me do my demo with the towel. You see this ink? How would you? I did my little pitch. He was like, wait, do it clean hard water. I'm like, dang, easy. It's a lay down. So I was like, am I black? He was like, yeah. He was like, if it clean as hard water, I'll buy right now. He let me in his house. I walk in his house. I see he got pictures with Kobe Bryant, Magic Johnson, Shaquille O'Neal, Kareem Abdul. He got all these pictures with the Lakers. I said, you must be a doctor. He was like, how did you know that? I was like, high five, because you got a lot of patience. He started busting out laughing. He was like, that was a good one, but actually I am a doctor. He's like, I'm a doctor for the Lakers, like when they get injured. He was like, I've been a doctor for them for like over 30 years. He was like, you ever thought about doing stand-up comedy? I was like, you sharper than Gillette. I was like, I am a comedian. This is just a vehicle that's driving me to my success. Because they said if you can knock on someone's door that you never met before and make them laugh with your sense of humor, you won't be afraid to perform in front of an audience. He was like, no, that's actually amazing. He was like, you know why? He was like, because Jamie Foxx stay across the street from me, right? I'm like, what? When I tell you, as soon as I heard that, I turned into a groupie immediately. I just ran over there. I ran over there so fast. I had left my product still. He had to come back like, hey, you left your product? How you going to? So I came back, got my product. I ran over there. As soon as I get over there, he had like a gate though. His house was like 2 miles from the gate. So he had a intercom, like a buzzer, like when you press the buzzer and ring, it just kept ringing. I'm over there praying like, please answer, please. This is my big break. And I'm like, anyway, he didn't answer. So I go to the next door. I'm in front of the next house. The next house is where the lady filmed me with the viral video that had all them views. So I'm in front of the house, about to go knock on the door. Some told me to just look back. I look back at my left. I see like a brown two-tone Maybach pulling in the gate. I run back over there. So I run back over there going through the gate. The gate was closing, but he had one of those sensor gates, like your body, as soon as your body hit it, the gate start opening back up. So I'm actually inside of the gate walking in. I'm like, oh my God, this is my big
Jamie
break.
didn't have no dogs, man.
Yeah, exactly. I didn't even care at the moment. I'm like, this is it. Like, you know what I'm saying? So I'm walking in the gate, but I noticed his camera started leaning and he started talking on the intercom. He's like, wait. What are you doing? With no trespass, what are you doing? You got to get out of here. I was like, excuse me, sir, COD. And he's like, all right, 1 second. So he pulled in the garage and he closed the gate. So I'm waiting outside of the gate. As soon as he pulled in the garage, I see him come back and within seconds on a golf cart. And he getting closer. Because at first I'm thinking like it's a maid or something. Or like his housekeeper or something. Then I see it's actually Jamie Foxx. I'm like, wow, that's really Jamie Foxx. So he must have seen like my spray bottle hanging off my leg. And he was like, wait. Wait, you trying to sell me something? He was like, wait, I thought you said COD. I was like, yeah, come on down. Then he started busting out laughing. He was like, not only is you funny looking. He was like, boy, I bet you with a grill like that, if you sneeze, you could bite a hole in your chest. Then he just started roasting me, talking about my teeth or lips and stuff. And then I said one joke. I said, man, all that money, you got that little earring, man. Your earring look like sugar. Then he started busting out laughing. He was like, you know what? I like you. He's like, come on. Then he like told me to get in on the passenger side of his golf cart. Then he drove me up to his house. And then he just started telling me his whole life story, like how he got adopted. He was from this small town, Terrell, Texas, and how he used to be a shoe salesman and how he didn't give up. And that's how he got his big break. He told me how this one person turned him down. And then he gave him an audition to do In Living Color, and that's how he made his big break. And he told me like how he was so determined to be a comedian that he used to go to open mics, and they used to have women chauvinists where they'll pick the woman name first. Anybody they seen with a name, you could be talented, the best comedian ever, but they see a name, they picking a female over you. You know what I'm saying? He was like, sometimes he couldn't even perform because they had picked so many women before him. So he said the next day, he's like, I got something for him. And he wrote on the list, Jamie Foxx. And that wasn't even his real name. They picked him thinking it was a girl. And he came out and did this.
I didn't know that.
Wanda.
Jamie Foxx is not his real name?
Yeah. I swear. Like,
I didn't know that.
Yeah. So I like, as he telling me this, I just started crying. I'm like, he's like, what's wrong? I was like, man, I wasn't even supposed to meet you today. I was like, before I had met you, I was just stranded out here. I had got kidnapped by some Indians. He's like, what you was doing at 7-Eleven?
Now, this is the same day that you were in the court, ran behind the gas station, called for a rescue line, had the option to go to Greyhound bus or take your ass back out on doors like a G.
Right.
And your choice was, I'm going to go back on doors. You calm yourself. Get back into the power of positive thinking, say a prayer, speak some words into creation, knock on a guy's door who is the doctor for the Lakers, who tells you Jamie Foxx lives across the street. You beeline out of his door, knock on Jamie Foxx's door, no show, and his Maybach rolls in, and you go in past the gates, and this is one day. And now you're sitting there with Jamie Foxx.
Exactly.
This is a dope ass door knocker story, man. I love it. So here we are with Jamie Foxx. I just had to catch up on that.
Yeah.
That is money, man. So here we are with Jamie.
Right.
And he's telling you his story.
Right. And so then I just started telling them mine, but I'm like emotional and in tears because I'm like, I don't know how this happened. This is like unbelievable. You know what I mean?
Divine intervention.
Like someone else trash is someone else treasure. I just went from being hopeless to hopeful. You know what I mean? Just by, And it's like anybody dream. It's like a little boy dream come true. You know what I'm saying? Like I never imagined a million years this even happening. So then he just started telling me like he just start building me confidence. Look, I'm telling you, God got something special for you. Don't give up. Whatever you do, like I'm telling you, he's like you on your way. You remind me of me when I was like a young comedian coming up and coming. And he just told me I was on my way. And what's crazy is that you remember that movie Django?
I do.
That's how long ago this video went viral because he only came home because he had left his script for Django. So I met him like that's how.
Yeah.
Just imagine if
you can't put those pieces together.
Yeah.
If he took his script to work that day,
I wouldn't even.
You didn't meet him,
Yeah.
and we aren't sitting here.
Yeah, exactly. So after that, he ended up like giving me words of encouragement. Then he bought a bottle from me, signed it, and then I went to the next door.
You still got that bottle?
Nah.
Oh man.
I think the company.
Jamie, can we get another bottle signed? Please?
I know, right? Yeah. I was so fascinated in everything. Yeah, the company, I think they had, I don't even know if they still got it. So anyway, I go to the next door, lights, camera, action. Hey, how's it going? Matter of fact, as soon as the door opened, I'm be quick like Nestle, be like Mike. That's how that video, that was next door to him. You know what I mean? So that's how that went. So anyway.
So the viral video, the one, and so we talked about this. It originally had over 300 million views.
Exactly.
The new one has 4.5, but you went from Jamie Foxx's door or his casita, talking stories about how he came up, which is just massively inspiring because he's another self-made individual.
Exactly.
So you go from that, walk next door, and it's the viral video door.
Yeah.
That's crazy, man.
Right after I just talked to him.
That is
so
crazy.
You don't know what's going through my head. I just see a camera and I'm thinking like, this is my big break. You know what I mean? He didn't call the producer or something. I don't know what's going on. This is in living color too. You know
Reality
what I mean?
TV.
So that's why it was like joke for joke. Like even people watch the video, it was like he could have been closing when she was like, how much is it? And I just kept talking and kept cracking jokes. Like I already knew what I was doing. You know what I mean? I just didn't know what I was doing. You know what I'm trying to say? Like it was all like, this was like posed to happen. You know what I'm saying? This is like manifestation. You know what I mean? Right.
Yeah.
So anyway, after they record me, they buy. I'm still in the neighborhood selling. Hours and go by. Now my reaction to customers is different. Like I go from like hard sales to like people ain't buying. I'm getting sales in between now. Then the next 20, 30 doors buying and taking pictures from me. Oh my God, you this famous guy. We just saw you on the internet. I'm like, famous. Like I didn't know nothing about social media. You see what I'm saying? It's like 2010. Only one I knew that went viral was Soulja Boy and you know, Justin Bieber. I'm like, I wasn't one of them. You know what I'm saying? So they telling me I got, oh, you trending right now. I'm like, trending? I don't even know what that means. I'm from Detroit. Like, so I'm still going door to door. So can you imagine all of these years I'm still going door to door knowing that not knowing that I had a viral video? Like I didn't find out like until like 2017 when like Ridiculousness reached out to me and said they wanted to give me $150.
So hold on. So that was 2010. And you just kept knocking.
Yeah.
So you were knocking from 2010.
Yeah.
Well, you were knocking before that. You've been knocking doors a long time.
Right. I started knocking 2004.
Right.
To like 2017. That's 13 years.
Yeah.
And then I knocked when I was 12 to 14 and a half. So that's 15 plus years. That's why I said it's like 15 years.
You're a career door knocker.
Yeah.
So 2010 video happens. 2017, Ridiculousness reaches out to you. But during that time,
I still was knocking doors.
You're a career door knocker.
But it's crazy though, because like in between, like the company was like, they're like, oh, we gonna sign you. They was giving me money in a meeting, like, oh, we gonna give you $10,000, $15,000, so you won't go nowhere. Then they'll take the money back, like, and like they made it look good, like it was weird, like what they was doing, because they was like trying to sell me on not going anywhere. But this whole time they knew, well, the owner of the soap, they knew that what was going on with me. You know what I'm saying? They just didn't tell me. Because like Ellen reached out to me, Tyler Perry, all of these big people, they was looking for me. It even had to the point you would go on the internet, people was like, he's dead.
Well, that's what you said earlier was that when you zoomed in on portions of that video, it had the company's name on your shirt.
Yeah.
And so what you're saying is that the whole time these guys are offering you money here and there to stay, but they're not. And then in what some of the stuff that I picked up is that the different shows, different shows are reaching out to the company to try and contact you.
Yeah. They even had a big newspaper article on me called Daily.News. It was like, where in the world is YouTube star Kenny Brooks?
Wow.
Like they was like his video like generated millions of views within hours. Like, you know, when you go viral, like the dude Daniel, man, I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
The Vans, he went on Ellen as soon as he went viral.
Yeah.
Got a van deal, got a $2 million endorsement. Like he just off that one little video. I had a video just like that. Like people that went viral, they really like people look for
Well,
them and they found
over 100. That's it's
that's
tremendous.
insane. Like
It's insane.
it's like I know it's insane because people that you probably see on TV that I see on TV know who I am.
Yeah.
And I'd be like, these people that I used to watch on TV, like a Nick Cannon, they knew who I was. You know what I'm saying? Every like big celebrities, like I run into them, they be like, man, I watch your video. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's crazy. And I'm looking at like, I supposed to have been here with y'all a long time ago. It's just that I was missing out because people knew information about me that they didn't tell me. Reason being, because they was greedy. They was like, oh, if we give him this information, he's going to go and blow up and then we going to lose out on sales now. You get what I'm saying? So
that's just bad business. So 2017. So, and this is just picking up from some of the stuff you talked about in correlation. An email comes. Ridiculousness.
Right.
And I love Rob, by the way. I watch some of Rob's content, man. He's a great businessman. He's an amazing human being.
Right.
So here comes this email. And what is the chain of events after the email? What does it say? What does it want?
Yeah, so the email basically is that they wanted me to pay me $150 to go on the show and just tell them how this video was created. And they paid the lady $20,000 to buy the rights to the video to get on their show. I didn't sign the consent. So I even reached out to the lady. She even sent me the executive producer. She was like, well, I promise you they didn't pay me that much. They paid me the same thing. It's just that I don't want to do it without your consent. If you sign, I'm going to sign. She was like, and I'm like, I don't believe that. They already, you know what I mean? Like, so anyway, I didn't sign the deal. Boom, I didn't sign it. So anyway, I moved to LA after that. I said, man, I got to get out of LA and find out what's going on because a lot of people know something that I don't know. So I quit the company. I left, boom. Started doing like.
Did you ever get to see it on YouTube? At some point, you must have gone on and saw your story on YouTube. You must have saw the video.
Yeah, that's what I. Yeah, I seen that.
And you're like,
that's when I was like, it's crazy. I need to find out like, can I make money or what's going on? And then that's what people like because I ran into YouTubers and Instagrammers that make money off monetization, and they like you ain't like what like this is like you like this guy. You know what I mean? And so. Anyway, so I contacted the lady and then I got a lawyer and everything. And then I was trying to sue the lady. And then like what really happened, I didn't even tell y'all that. She even did her homework. She had her lawyers tell me, oh, you can't sue her because in the video, she said, can I put this on YouTube? And your reaction was, yeah. So you gave her the consent. So they was like, even if I wanted to, you know what I mean? I couldn't like, so she got mad. It was like, you know what? You could have worked something out with me. You ain't have to go behind my back and try to get lawyers on. You know what? I'm just going to take the video down. She took the whole video down.
So that's the original that came down that had hundreds of millions of views. And the one we see now is 4.5.
Yeah.
That's just greed, man. So
so what's crazy, not trying to cut you off. Right after that, I moved to LA. Boom. So now I'm going to content parties. I'm going to doing social media stuff. Boom, boom. And I'm telling my story at this influencer house. And Jamie Foxx nephew happened to be there. And he called Jamie Foxx, FaceTime and everything. He's like, remember that story you was telling about the one salesman that went viral that was at your door? Look, he right here. And then he was like, oh, he's still ugly. Yeah, that's him. So we start roasting again. Then he was like, I was like, look, I just want to thank you for calling your neighbor, telling them that, you know, I was this funny sales because she recorded me, my life changed. I done went viral. He's like, no, let me tell you how racist my neighbor was. That's why I had to move out of that neighborhood, move to Thousand Oaks. He was like, right when you was selling me after you left, my neighbor called me. He's like, Jamie, I just want to give you a heads up. It's this black suspicious guy that's case in the neighborhood. Look like you trying to break in your house. I just want to give you a heads. He's like, no, you're not. This aspiring comedian that's selling a cleaner product. Maybe you should open the door. He just sold me some good cleaner. You might need some too. Maybe you should open the door and listen to him.
That's right.
And he was like, and that's the only reason why she recorded me because she thought that I was doing something negative in the neighborhood. So that way, if they found out through their neighbors that I was doing bad stuff, she had me recorded on camera. That's why she zoomed in. Like, what's your name? Like, and zoomed in on the company and like to get the information.
So what's cool for me, man, is I've been in Door2Door for 5 years. I saw that video. I've seen that video multiple times. And before I was in Door2Door, if I'm honest with you, until I started listening to your content, I didn't know, like I assumed it was like a skit, like a setup. And it's crazy to hear the actual story. So like, and everybody, I mean, if you haven't watched the video, go watch. Just Google Kenny Brooks, right? Like it's money, right? And the some of the stuff that I picked up on from you is you're very well read. You take in a lot of content, but you're also very analytical, right? You're a true comedian. So like a lot of the stuff that you're doing on Doors, you have notepads and you're working jokes and taking jokes in and taking jokes out. So you're here by design. You're here by Kenny Brooks design. You're here by being analytical with your jokes, you know, and listen, comedy, the heart of comedy is cynicism, but to be a good comedian, you have to put a lot of thought into that. And so to know that skit, so that day, right? Let's just go back. There's Kenny. He's at court. He's behind the gas station. He's at the doctor's house, the Lakers. Then all of a sudden he's in Jamie Foxx's gate. And then none of this could have been planned at all. There's nothing on the earth that you could have personally sat down with the notepad and said, this is what's going to happen today. The universe created this.
Right.
Jamie Foxx calls his neighbor, and then here's this lady with that big ass camcorder creeping up behind the door of her husband. And then what's real luck? Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And there's Kenny Brooks, legit, just being Kenny Brooks, being who you are. And he calls the neighbor, and she's out with a camcorder. And this is back in the day, and the camcorders were not what they are today. And we get the legit Kenny Brooks actual door pitch. That was a real door pitch. When I learned that, it literally blew me away. And to hear the story and to hear it and look in your eyes and know that every ounce of it is 100% the truth, it's crazy, man. It's an intense thing to think that you went through that and how the universe and abundance and creativity played into that moment for you. Just so powerful, man. So I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's just a lot of, I think it's important for people to understand who you are as a person. And
Right.
at that day on that door, that wasn't luck, man. That was Kenny Brooks being actually Kenny Brooks. And that was years and years and years and years and years of door knocking, of overcoming objections, of, using your creativity and your God-given talent to be a comedian, but to write those jokes in and out, and then to show up on that stage, on that platform that catapulted you to here. It's just super powerful to me, man. So I just wanted to cut in on that portion. So
Yeah.
there she is. It's it's an amazing. So I didn't mean to cut on the story, but
Yeah. So after that, now I moved to LA for good. I'm monetizing everything. I just started me a YouTube channel, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat, Twitter. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So now I'm just like starting over. It feel like I'm starting over, but I was like, I needed that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he who
100%.
suffer remembers. I needed that. So now, now I started over. So then, started doing skits for like 2 years. Then 2019, when the pandemic, I moved to Vegas. I met with Pink Miracle. They basically booked me to do like a promo.
Mm-hmm.
Like, cause I was getting like promo people like I want to book you to sell my product, or you know what I'm saying, do this video for me, you know what I'm saying, just to doing promotions for their company. But Pink Miracle was a different thing because like I went viral 2010, and it was like I kind of like shadowed away with that. So people really like kind of forgot about me. Then 2019, I run into Pink Miracle. We signed a deal with like, I'm just doing videos. They paying me like I'm like the brand ambassador. So now we both now I'm coming back up. People starting to remember me now off of Pink Miracle, because now we going viral again. So now they like, oh, I remember this guy years ago. You know what I mean?
The video.
Then Brad Lee reached out to me. He like, oh, I want you to get you on a podcast, because shout out to Jonathan Dawson. I just did something with him in Atlanta. That's why I just came from Atlanta, because we did the 6-figure sales conference. And then he went on Brad Lee podcast, was like, if you don't know Kenny Brooks, you got to look him up. He like, so then Brad Lee reached out to me. Boom, I moved to Vegas, started doing stuff. He like, you got to get sales training course. You got to get this, you got to get that. I think you've seen the interview. So then he was critiquing me and giving me information, and I took it and I ran with it. Now, like, 3 years later, I'm doing documentaries, I'm doing podcasts, I'm doing interviews, I'm doing coaching, I'm doing training, I'm doing keynote speaking, I'm doing TV shows, I'm doing movies, you know what I mean? I got a lot of stuff going on. So I'm just study building my brand. I grew 2 million followers on TikTok within like a year, 8 months to a year, you know what I'm saying? They took that, they banned it for like
when
a
we getting the
months.
TikTok count back?
Yeah, we getting it back like probably the end of
Come
this
on,
month.
TikTok.
You know what I'm saying?
On,
yeah.
man. We got to have some Kenny on there, man.
Yeah, so I grew another one. I got like 400K within like 2-3 months.
Everybody go find Kenny on TikTok.
Yeah.
The new account too, please.
Yeah, Funny Salesman.
Funny Salesman.
Yeah,
so that's another. So I wanted to, and so listen, Kenny, bro, you deserve. You're one of those people that I can sit with and say, like, Kenny's a star, man. You just have star personality, and this is all going to compound into something. A couple of things I wanted to ask was, what made you pick Funny Salesman? The tagline, Funny Salesman. Where'd that come from?
Yeah, because that's my brand. It's like the best of both worlds. I feel like R. Kelly, the good one, and Jay-Z. Because I remember the best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. Remember they CD. So like that, like I had came up with different names. Like it was Door2Door comedian at first, then it was KB comedian, then it was the salesman that's funny. You know what I'm saying? The kind of comedy salesman, and then what made me pick Funny Salesman because how I was getting booked.
Yeah,
I get booked to do Wildin' Out or audition for Wildin' Out. I get booked for do stand up comedy, or I get booked to do like funny skits. So my brand is I'm getting booked for funny stuff, and then I'm getting books to train people how to sales because I got 15 years experience. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Or that people want to hear my story. So I'm a funny salesman.
Yeah,
and that separated me from like a Grant Cardone or Tony Robbins. You know what I'm saying? Because they like the best of the best.
Or Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah, but I'm a funny salesman. You know what I mean? They like when I do like when I'm doing like speaking. Like they just pushing like, you know, and I take nothing because I love these guys. But me, like my audience getting a show and they getting knowledge. You get what I'm trying to say?
100%.
And I learned that from like just like holding meetings. Like I noticed like some people will like fall asleep in a meeting where they just boring. Like they teaching you sales, but they like too pushy with it. But when I'm sitting up there entertaining you, they like, oh, I'm woke. I want to hear what's next. Oh, that's a good joke. You know what I'm saying? So now, like,
the cool thing for me, you know, having you come in today was like, you know, you really get a sense of who somebody is and how well thought they are and how much content they've taken in when you see them present. In 100%, there was you know, you had the whole gang or whole group here just laughing the whole time. But what was the depth of that was that it was all useful information. There was just you have so many nuggets, you know, and so some of the shout outs that I want to do are just, you know, over your lifetime. I do want to hear you talk about this instead of shouting it out. So one of the things that you mentioned in there was that, you know, and I want to hear your analytics on doors and how you've kind of done that with your jokes, man. So it's not, your jokes are by design. Mm-hmm. So just kind of talk about how like you've grown over the years with your door jokes and like, and your personality and how you've applied that to the profession because it is by design.
Yeah, that all came from like, excuse me, like whatever you put in, that's what you get out. You know what I mean? So like, I noticed that like, the leadership is when no one's watching, you know what I mean? And then also leadership is when you do something, when you get paid to do more than what you're doing. So like if someone pay you, but you're doing way more than what they paid you to do. Like I remember my trainer, he was like, mentor, shout out to Mr. Davis. He was like, man, you want to get you a notebook and just write down you some jokes and some product knowledge and all that. I got 10 notebooks. He said, you want to get you a close for you want to get you a comeback for every objection. I did 5 comebacks for every objection. You know what I mean? So I was going beyond the call of duty. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And then what I did is I took the meat, spit out the bones. Then I'm practicing my sales pitch or my sales talk or my conversation in the mirror. So I'm looking at my facial expression. I'm looking at my body language. I'm looking at my smile. Chinese proverbs say you can't smile, you should open the store. So like I did a lot of homework. Everything I was doing, I was practicing it because I know the 5 Ps, proper preparation, prevent poor performance. You know what I mean? And like, if you keep doing the same thing and expecting a different result, that's a sign of insanity. How you could expect to win when you're not doing everything it takes? You know what I mean? Like one of my favorite saying is that everybody want to go to heaven, but they don't want to die. You see what I'm saying? Like the person that like started the product out, he used to tell me like, yo, ass can't fit in 2 saddles. You know what I mean? Excuse my French, but you can't ride 2 saddles. You know what I mean? Yep. Like it's that decision you got to make. So I knew that in order for me to be great, I had to do what great people doing because it's lonely at the top. Everybody not doing this. Like Drake said, shout out to this song. He said, while people out partying, I'm trying to make music they can party too. So we work 6 days a week, but me, because we work Monday through Saturday. We was off Sunday night. Sunday night, people go to the clubs, they go hang out, celebrate. Me, I was working 8 days a week. I was working when I wasn't working. Like when I'm off work, I still was at work. You see what I'm saying? While they was out partying, I'm writing down jokes that I can party too. You see what I'm saying? So I'm still in the lab.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Pac said we all have the same 24 hours in a day.
Exactly.
It's what you're doing with the same time.
Amen. Yeah. See, facts, y'all. And that's what I did. So I'm writing down jokes and I'm using these jokes. So if I hear not interested, I got 5 jokes for not interested. I'm not interested. Yeah, my mom told my dad that, but 9 months later I was born. Okay, they laugh. Okay, I'm gonna use that. Oh, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I'm naturally skinny, you know, and I'm using that. Boom. Like, so I just had different ones. I'm not interested. I've never been arrested. That's why we got a permit. The city hall tell you I was coming by. No wonder I ain't see the red carpet. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I ain't got no time. Oh, I'm like Nicolas Cage. I'm going in 60 seconds. I'm gonna be brief and brilliant. I'm out your hair like Selsun Blue. So I ain't got no time. You ever seen a watch get baptized? I've been saving everybody time.
Let me ask you, man. So you have, dude. Listen, you know what? So I don't want to relate you to Lil Wayne, but a lot of Wayne's songs
That's my favorite rapper.
bro,
And that's what's
there's a lot of this, like, I don't even know what it's called, what you do, where you're relating, like, I'm gone in 60 seconds. But Wayne raps like that, where he
metaphors.
It's metaphors. Like, where are you getting these, man?
From them. Eminem, Jay-Z, Lil Wayne. I swear, I tell people that all the time. At 12 years old, that's all I was listening to.
Because that's how Wayne raps.
No, and that's what I was. I'm watching Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kobe. Like, before they go to a game, they listening to something that's inspiring. It could be rap, it could be gospel, it can be a motivational about Eric Thomas or Zig Ziglar. It don't matter. Yeah. But it's something that's driving their adrenaline. At 12 years old, I'm listening to Lil Wayne whole album before I go knock on the door. So you can imagine what I'm finna say.
His lyrics, man.
Yeah. So that's
your lyrics.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, and that's why I was like wilding out. They was like, "Oh, he's a rapper." You know what I mean? Like, yeah. So
that's just, dude. Here's what I love, man. I love how deep this is for you. Because I haven't had the chance to really meet you prior to this. We met out at Knockstar with Danny and them, and that was a great show. So I got the opportunity to meet you there. But you really see, you don't know who somebody is. You see on Wildin' Out, you see on these videos, and you just think, you don't really understand that. And you're good at jokes, and you're a good comedian, and like this stuff's funny. What you do, like, that's great. But when you really dive into who Kenny Brooks is, man, this is a lifelong obsession,
right?
Literally an obsession, where you go from doing licks to get top ramen and peanut butter into figuring out that, hey, that's not the direction that I want to go. I don't want to lead my brothers and sisters into that. And then you just go into this massive campaign of taking action and do, I can't imagine what Detroit, I've been to Detroit, but I haven't lived in Detroit. I've heard of it. I don't know what those surroundings look like, but I know they're not good. Yeah. And you have all these bad choices that you can make, and you start making these really good choices to work. And when you see, when people see Kenny Brooks on this video or up in front of a crowd, you don't realize that Kenny Brooks has been manifesting this and working on this, like actually working on this, like creatively working on this for your whole life. And then because you're in a positive way, and because you're doing positive things, I mean, you're reading books, you're praying, you're using, positive self-talk almost your whole life. And I heard some of the stories that you told up here, we can't share on the podcast, but you've had some people have some pretty negative comments to you. And, the one thing that I just keep going back to that you said, man, is your perception is your reality. So all of these different perceptions, and I like to use the word paradigm. I love Stephen Covey in the 7 Habits.
Yeah, I love him.
But it's
Mormon too.
He is. And but he says, you don't see the world as it truly is.
Yeah.
You see the world as you think it is.
Yeah.
And what that means is, like, I could have grown up in Detroit right next to you and gone the other way and spent my life in prison. But you have the same opportunities to go the wrong direction as any guy does. And any guy has the same opportunities to go in the right direction that you do by making choices. But the compound effect of those choices lead you to Jamie Foxx, to this lady creeping around, for negative reasons, creeping around a corner with a video camera and then catching you. And then just to see who you are here, man, like, you've earned this. Like, right. You're dope, man. You're a dope human being, Kenny. Like, I appreciate no joke, that. Man.
Thank you, brother.
The last thing I want to ask you about, I don't want to take up too much of your time, and anything else you want to unpack, I think the listeners just want to hear you. So you've talked about some of your mentors, man. Like I have a lot of mentors in my life. I grew up with till I was in my 30s. I had a really tough time in my life. And when I was in my 30s, especially when I got into Door2Door, but there was a few other men that played parts in my life that were big mentors to me, that changed the way that I viewed the world and how I wanted to act, and who I emulated and who inspired me to be more and bigger and better than I was. So I always like to ask my guests, like, who are your biggest mentors, and what parts did they play in you becoming the man that you are today?
Right. My mentors, it's like, I got like 5 of them. Like, it's my grandmother and my mother. They like number one. They like, boom.
No,
then
sure.
I got like Mr. Davis, my trainer, like mentor. He trained me in like the sales world. And then like Eric Thomas, he like a mentor. Like, I just like inspired, you know what I'm saying? Because we both from the same city, you know what I'm saying? Like, we both from Detroit. and I just love his story. You know what I mean? Then like it's like Lil Wayne, like Lil Wayne basically cause like how he got a lot of kids and like he's still like, you know what I mean, this leader and like he like the best rapper and like he didn't let what nobody say, you know what I mean?
Yep.
Like it's so many debates, you know what I'm saying? Like me, it's so many debates. People like, oh, he not the greatest salesman. Like he not, you know, it's so many stuff to go on, you know what I mean? So it's just like how like Kevin Hart, like it's like Kevin Hart, Lil Wayne, Jay-Z, my grandmother, Eric Thomas, my mom, you know what I mean? It's like all of them in one. So like them, like that's like my inspiration. Like, yeah.
I love that, man. And so those are some of the most, and those are all, we were talking about Eric Thomas on the way over here from the hotel. And, you know, it was funny because you mentioned Eric Thomas's story about Bob Proctor. And that story with Eric Thomas was when Bob Proctor was saying, you have to, as a human being, you have to understand your own worth, you know. And I think that's when people come from a very fixed mindset or an impoverished mindset, or just basically a fixed mindset, you know, the golden handcuffs of the everyday job. It's, you know, intrinsically, sometimes people can lose that self-worth or that true self-value. You know, when we're giving our work or our time or our love to somebody, that's the core of what we have to give. And I love that, you know, just a shout out to Eric Thomas and that talk from Bob Proctor where he says, you know, you need to see the world as, you need to see yourself as the world sees you.
Exactly.
And really have that confidence in yourself. So Eric Thomas actually one of my inspirations as well, man.
He amazing.
So tell me, so now here we are, Kenny. What do we got going on, man? So you've been on Bradley. Sounds like you might be on Joe Rogan. You just went to go for Wildin' Out. We don't know what's going to happen with that, but where can people find Kenny, find Kenny's content? I know you do a bunch of different sales trainings now. How do people get a hold of you? And I can tell you I'm going to shout out for you, man. If you can get a hold of Kenny and have him come and train your sales organization, I've been in sales I've taken a lot of content. I'm not the best salesman in the world, but I'm pretty good at reading really high quality sales content. So not only were you funny and inspiring in your whole story, but you're very intelligent, and the information that you translated to the entire group was worth it. So if you're thinking about getting a hold of Kenny Brooks, I strongly suggest it. Where can people find you, Kenny?
I got a website. It's thefunnysalesman.com.
Okay.
You can follow me on Instagram, Funny Salesman, TikTok, Funny Salesman, Facebook, Kenny Brooks, Funny Salesman. So yeah, social media, YouTube, you know, the Brooks Show one, or, you know, my email is kbkennybrookscomedian@gmail.com.
Okay.
Yep. So yeah, like I'm everywhere. You like people about to start seeing me. I'm like, you know, I already said like 2022 like is my year. You know what I mean? So like I'm just steady grinding. I just had a newborn baby. Shout out to my wife Jasmine Brooks, because like we've been through a lot for so long, and we like she been there for me. Like my kids, like that's another thing too. Like one of my biggest goals right now is that start an academy called School of Hard Knock University. Where like I like give back to like my community
in Detroit, California.
Well, it's gonna be everywhere.
Okay,
you know, because that's where I came from. I started doing door-to-door sales at 12, and then I went when I got the job at Austin Diversified Products. We used to abbreviate it as ADP, all dark people. Be like, make the check out to ADP, all dark people, because it was an inner city youth program. So they used to hire inner city kids, like troubled teens or troubled kids that didn't have no hope and no, you know what I'm saying, lifeless, and then they give them a second chance, and then look at me. I come from that, you know what I mean? So I just want to give that back to my environment. It don't matter though. You could be in the suburbs, you can be from China, you can be wherever, and it's an academy where we train you how to be an independent contractor. Yeah. You could be 10 years old. I got my kids right now reading Rich Dad Poor Dad. You know what I mean? Reading Think and Grow Rich. You know, knocking on doors. I got an 11-year-old daughter. She'd have made like $1,500 in a week selling candy bars, $2 candy bars, doing fundraiser. Yeah. Just because you could lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink it. She saw her dad like, wait, he can do this, I can do this. You know what I mean? And now I seen her, she's a leader. She'll get her little brother. I got 10 kids, so I don't need to hire no salespeople. You know what I mean? I got a whole team.
You got a team.
Yeah, so like my oldest kids, they was knocking on doors at like 6, 7 years old. Yeah. I had my youngest daughters, well, I got a newborn daughter. You know what I mean? Jenny Brooks just came in the world, but I have my little daughters, you know what I'm saying? Kennedy and Kenzie, they knocking on doors 4 or 5 years old, barely can talk. And they, you know what I mean? Just because, so I feel like that I'm gonna start an academy where like it's gonna be an academy like a university where they can go. Like even me and Sam Taggart was talking about that. He said he about to start Street Smarts because he said he came into business like spray painting addresses. That was his first door-to-door job around that age. I said, that's what I got my kids doing it right now. You know what I mean? Like even the dummy know to buckle up. So it's like so much stuff you can learn from just door-to-door that I never learned in school.
I think you can. So listen, man, I've said it many times. I'm beyond in love with the career of door to door. I think it's literally it teaches humans how to be better humans. If you stay in the game, and we talked about this when you were up in Correlation. I just gave you accolades for it, man. Casey Boss said it, and it always rang true to me. Was this is an industry where you pull your bootstraps up. And it's an equal opportunity employer, man. It doesn't care if you're black. It doesn't care if you're white. Exactly. It doesn't care if you're Mexican. It doesn't care if you're Asian. It doesn't care if you're young. It doesn't care if you're old. Doors are doors. Exactly. And learning doors it's you against doors, and what you need to overcome and who you need to become your own independent, person. And the beautiful thing about what we do is not everybody makes it, man. We put people in the meat grinder. You kick them off the pier, and you got to swim, or the sharks are going to eat you. But the people that we can touch here and the opportunities that we can give, and I was impoverished when I was a youth, had a tough time like you. But it doesn't matter your background. Right. It's literally an equal opportunity employer. So I love that, man. I would love to see you give back because, the power,
That's why I love the training. Because like one thing I learned, everybody not a salesperson though.
No.
If everybody was a salesperson, we wouldn't have a police officer.
That's right.
To fight crime. We wouldn't have a doctor when we need, operations. What I'm saying? Sick people.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have teachers to teach, education. Yeah. But I feel like everybody can be salesmen. You know what I'm saying? Anybody can do this. You know what I mean? It's a no-brainer. That's why I want to teach it. Like someone taught me. You know what I mean? Fair exchange, no robbery.
I think most people just think they can't, but that's the problem.
Yeah.
I think I can't. And it's like, you got to think you can. Like if I can do it, you can do it. Right. It's just sales is a language. So I love that, man. So listen, Kenny, thank you so much for coming on, man. It has been an absolute honor to get to know you and to see the depth of, I've seen you on the YouTube, and like to get to actually know who you are is inspiring, to know where you came from and the choices that you made over your lifetime to equate to the person that you are, and how analytical, and just to see how preparation meets opportunity. And, that divine intervention. And something that somebody hit me with is, I believe in the law of attraction. Like I believe in electricity, man. Somebody said something to me, attraction has been so relentless to me in my life that I can't deny it physically or mentally or spiritually, because it's happened so many times.
Right.
And it sounds like it's been
testimony.
It's been relentless to you too. And that's to me, that's the law of attraction. To hear how that worked in your life,
amen, was
super powerful, man. So Kenny, thank you for coming on, brother.
Hey, thank you, brother. I appreciate you.
Absolutely, man. All right, everybody go find Kenny.
Yes, sir.
Let's go.
Let's go.